What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to give you guys an urgent market update as Bitcoin is starting to get a little bit of a move to the downside. If you guys watched my live stream last night, you will know we were looking at two major things that were potentially pointing to a little bit of a dip here, and that was money flow coming out on the medium hourly time frames, as well as that 2-day red dot that was printing. So in today's video, I want to talk about if we were to continue to the downside, where you could potentially expect price to go, and where those next key levels of support are sitting. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the charts, talk about how we wound up where we are now, and then talk about those key levels to the downside that you should be watching for the next potential bounce. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart, and as you guys can see, we are starting to get a little bit of a push to the downside. If you guys have been keeping up with the live streams, you will know that we've been looking at this main range pulled from back in February all the way to our current price action, and we were talking about how we have gotten our move above the value area low. We got that move to the POC, and then we had tapped that value area high almost to the dollar, where we were seeing those bearish divergences on time frames such as the daily as well as the 16 and 12 hour. We also had them on some lower time frames, but these were the major time frames I was looking at. And one of the reasons why this was a very important level to be watching was because if you pull your Fibonacci retracement from the absolute high of this range all the way to the low down here at about 53,200, you guys will know that not only was this the value area high, but it was also the macro 786 from that absolute high to the low. And anytime we are looking for price to come up, put in a lower high, and then get a continuation to the downside, oftentimes we are looking between that golden pocket and 786 retracement. And with the confluence with that value area high, it did make for a likely rejection back to the downside. And then last night on the live stream, we were looking at a very key level, which was that point of control of the range. And if we were unable to get above that, we were looking for a continuation to the downside, potentially targeting that value area low of this major range sitting at about 61.6. That was kind of the major level of support we were watching, and it still remains important key support. And there is that 2-day red dot still printing in all of its glory, as well as our 4-hour money flow crossing over into the red, and that 6-hour money flow crossing over into the red as well. And as you guys know, the money flow indicates the longer term trend. The red and green dots give us those ebbs and flows or the noise in the market, but when we're looking at money flow, it usually is calling the longer term trend, which did make us put our targets down here closer to 61.6. So key level number one is going to be that value area low sitting right there. Now on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and hide that current range. I'm going to pull up another volume profile that I've been watching very closely, and that range is coming from all the way at the top, coming from where we were kind of consolidating at the top of that previous bull market. We extrapolated those levels all the way to the right, and you guys can see these levels have been respected, giving us bounces off the value area low, and then we deviate above that value area. This is where you want to be looking for your short positions, which was a setup in the premium Discord. And then you're looking for price to come back down to that value area high, lose the value area high, go to the POC, and eventually when you lose that POC, you're looking to go down to the low. And we are now potentially in a very similar situation here where we got that deviation above that value area high. This is where you would want to be looking for short positions. Now, I was at the Bitcoin Nashville conference during this time. We did have that key level of resistance set up in the premium Discord. I personally did not take the short. However, we did get those bearish divergences before coming down, tapping that value area high almost to the dollar. And then once we got stuck back inside here, we were at risk. We also looked at this on the live stream. We were at risk of getting that push down. And if you're looking at this in terms of the volume profile or this specific volume profile, the next key level in this case would be the POC, which is sitting at about $61,000 even, which is eerily close to that value area low of the macro range that we just looked at. So we do have a bit of confluence down here between about 61.6 and $61,000 even, that nice psychological level. Now, if we do wind up losing these key levels of support, I will be looking for potential long positions down here in case we get some kind of a liquidity grab down here at the low for that continuation up higher. However, guys, if we do wind up losing that $61,000 psychological critical level of support. With the confluence of the POC and the value area low, we could potentially be on our way to our last line of defense, which is going to be coming in right here at about 59 all the way down to about $57,000, where we have this naked value area as well as the CME gap, which everybody has been kind of looking at down here, sitting just in that zone as well. So if we are going to go down and fill that CME gap, this would be a nice confluent area to potentially look for that gap to fill and then give us another bounce to the upside. But in order to get that, we need to break those first key levels of support, which again is sitting between $61,000 and $61,600, sitting right about here. And again, guys, just to point it out, money flow is coming out on these medium time frames. So even if we do get some ebbs and flows to the upside, we could expect, if money flow continues into the red, to get that continuation down to lower prices. And when I woke up today and saw that we almost perfectly came up and rejected our current local volume profile value area low, it did look like a Bitcoin was showing a bit more weakness with that money flow coming out, which is why I wanted to bring these levels to your attention, because if things get ugly, you're going to want to have those levels of support, because it can add a little bit of peace of mind, so you're not just like, oh my god, where are we going? Why is price dumping? You can simply sit on your hands, wait for price to approach these levels, and then gauge those reactions at the level. Remember, trading is an if this then that statement. You don't just want to long these random levels. You want to make sure you have some kind of an entry trigger as you approach those key levels. I like to think of those levels as your net or your trap for price action. And then if price gives you that entry trigger, which could be looked at as taking the bait, then you could look to enter that high probability trade to make some profits on the bounces to the upside. So with all that being said, guys, pretty quick market update here. I just wanted to give you guys those levels. Make sure you guys are up to date with everything that I'm looking at. That way, if price starts to move in a crazy manner, you'll know what levels we're looking at, so you're not freaking out, and you can kind of just sit on your hands, relax, and wait for price to hit those key levels so you can take your next trade. And with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for today's market update. Hopefully this helps you guys out, and I will see you later on the live stream at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand.